will not be moved when the earth gives way. For there is someone who's overcome. And for every fear, there's an empty grave. For there is someone who's overcome. Hey. He is overcome. Amen, amen. Let's lift up praise for him. Let's go.
I love that song. You guys love that song as much as I do? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, before we begin our next song, I'd like to share a verse with you that I carry very deeply in my heart. It's Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in a time of pain and sadness and disappointment, I somehow forget God is always with me. Because there's something really important. God is with his people. And we are his people. So, as we're singing this next song, think about that, because we are his people and we need to raise him up.
There in the fire, standing next to me. There was another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding of how I've been set free, there is a cross that bears the burden. Another died for me. To my sin anymore. I will never be alone. I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fire, standing next to me. the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be.
Jesus, thank you for sitting with us in the fire. Thank you for sitting with us in the hard circumstances. Thank you for never leaving us, ever. Thank you for being by our side always. You've never left. You're always here. You hear every student's cry. You hear everything we say. And you don't watch from afar. You sit in our pain with us. You sit in it with us. Lord, thank you for being a God of compassion that just reaches out your arm even when we don't reach out. Even when we don't choose you, Lord, you chase after us. Thank you for chasing after us. Thank you for being in the fire. You're right there in our pain. You know what it feels like. And you sit with us in it and you comfort us. And you say, I'm here. Be still and know that I'm God. Thank you for hearing all of our prayers. I pray that every student in this room would remember on their hardest days, in the most uncomfortable and challenging situations, that they would remember that you are sitting with it and with them in their pain. That you're sitting there with them. You're compassionate. You're not removed. You're right there the whole time. Thank you, Lord. In your name we pray.
Well, hey guys. Hi. All right, who has their license in here? Okay, if you don't have your license, don't check out, because this is a life lesson for you guys. Who is a good driver? Yeah? Okay, who's a good driver, but like doesn't make a mistake ever? Yeah, that's okay. Like, God knows your heart. It's okay. So I would say I'm a good driver, but I messed up. And let me illustrate this for you guys. That's the prism. Okay, this is what my car looked like 6 months ago. A Honda Accord Sports Edition 2015, great. 5 months ago, something happened. So I wrote a diagram. Daisy, if you need a graphic designer, I understand. So that car is mine in the white. It was in the driveway on the house on the left. And I was headed to the gym in the morning because, you know, the grind life. And I backed out where the position is right there. And I forgot that little rectangular box we're addicted to, that we can't be apart for like 5 seconds. So I ran inside and grabbed my phone. And before this, I thought I put my car into park. Yeah. So if you don't know, the P means like don't move, and the R means reverse, go backwards. Somehow, I got it stuck right in the middle where that red arrow is. And so when I got out of my car to go get my phone, it was indeed in park and it wasn't moving. So I ran inside, grabbed my phone, and I come outside to watch it go from a park to a reverse. As we see, this arrow is going right into my neighbor's car. Yeah. So I thought I could be superhuman, and I was like, I'm gonna stop my car. So I start sprinting. Guys, no one's outside. Like, not one person's outside watching this, and I'm sprinting to my car. Thank goodness I didn't run fast enough, because I literally would have crushed every bone in my body. And now that's what my car looks like. And thank you. And my neighbor's car was completely smashed. And in the moment, I'm like, all right, what do I do? So of course, my parents were out back, so I ran home. And I ran in my backyard, and I was like, Mom and Dad, I did something bad. And they were like, what happened? And I was like, so I got in a car accident without anyone being in a car. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, my car went from park to reverse. And they were like, still confused. And so they came out, of course, very, very, very upset. But my mom, bless her heart, she's like, well, no one got hurt. Like, it's fine. My dad's angry. And so he's like, you have to go tell them. And this neighbor is like a sister to me. And so it's almost worse when, like, you know the person, because then you have to live with that story the rest of your life. And so I'm like walking in, and I'm like, okay, I'm mustering up all the thoughts in my head about, like, when I'm going to knock on this door. They're going to be mad. They're going to be like, oh, you're paying a lot of money. They're not going to forget it. They're going to think I'm a horrible driver. And you might be wondering why I'm telling you this story, and it's exactly for the response I got. So I knocked on the door, and she wasn't home. It was her dad. And I was like, so something happened outside. And he goes, you know, Brooke, this is going to sound really weird, but it's okay. And I was like, what? And he was like, she's been, like, praying for me to get her a new car. And, like, this was a sign to get her a new car. And I was like, what? And this correlates right back. I don't know if you guys have been through a similar situation. Probably not. But maybe you lied to your mom and got caught, or procrastinated too long on homework and failed that test, or maybe you indeed crashed your car like me. But we may, like, correlate this to Jesus a lot. And it's like, does Jesus forgive me for my wrongdoings? Does he love me for my wrongdoings? Does he care about me? And so I want you guys to remember that. And I want you to know that your past does not hold you back. And do not hold your past by that. So, on the screen. So we're going to look at this verse. So this is written by a prophecy named Isaiah. And this was centuries before Jesus was born. And he wrote, but he was pierced for our transgressions, and he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. So there's some big words in here, so we're going to break it down a little bit. So transgressions and inequities coincide for the same thing, meaning sin, meaning wrongdoings, meaning mess-ups. And then that chastisement means punish severely. So when we're looking at this, we put it together, and we don't know who this is yet, but he was pierced for our sins and punished severely for it, and brought us peace and healing. And God promised that he was going to bring a suffering servant to take that place on the cross and die for our sins and completely demolish that sense of not fulfillment, and he gave us complete peace. And that suffering servant was Jesus. And when he died on the cross, he took every sin away, and he said, you're forgiven. I think we forget how much forgiveness is a gift. And it truly just shows his grace and his love. I want you guys to think about it this way. Say you're pulling up at Starbucks, you're getting your chocolatey chip frappuccino, and you pull up to the window, you're in the drive-thru, and they go up, you get your credit card or your app out, and they go, no, the person in front of you paid for you. And you're like, what? And they're like, no, yeah, like the person in front of you is good. Like, here's your drink, have a great day. And you're like, why would they do that? Like, why would they pay for my drink? And we could see Jesus in the same way, is that without hesitation, he took our place on the cross and created that separation. And he gave us complete peace and complete healing, and when we don't deserve it. And sometimes, even though when we don't deserve it, and sometimes when we mess up and we forget to turn to him and we go astray. And we see in here, and we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all, Isaiah 53:6. And I want you to watch this video. Yeah. Right? I laughed too many times at that video. And it's a lot like us, where they're referencing us to being like sheep. All of us, we go astray. We mess up. We do the wrong things. We might look at that bucket like that sheep and be like, I got this. I got this bucket. And then we turn upside down and sideways and all the things. And we forget that even when we go astray, he turns to us and he loves us. And he's like, no matter how far you go, or if you flip over in a bucket, or if you crash your car into someone's car, I love you. And I don't see you any differently. And we see in this verse, it says in Luke 23:34, Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. I don't want you guys to miss this. Right here, Jesus is on the cross and being crucified and taking the price for our sins. And in this moment, he's asking forgiveness for the people that are crucifying him, that are punishing him, that are crucifying on the cross. I don't know about you, but in this situation, I'd be like, God, help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of this situation. I need your help. Instead, Jesus in this moment is like, I know the final score and I know the ending, and I am giving complete peace and fulfillment to those that I'm on the cross for, and I just want you to forgive the people that are doing this because they don't know what they're doing. And this just shows his love and his mercy. And I know that sometimes when you're ignored at school and you feel alone, or if you're lied to and you lose that trust with a friend, or if you break something that's not yours and then someone is resistant about putting it in front of you, is that we are very hard to forgive others. And I think Jesus is wanting us to take a step back and realize what we're meant to do. And yes, we're forgiven always, and he loves us no matter what, but you shouldn't abuse that. As Jesus wants you to be a light, he wants you to be an example. He wants you to be out in the world and someone look at you and they're like, wow, what do they have that I need to get? And you have this sort of light. Yes, when we mess up and when we forget he's there sometimes, he will always reel us back in. But we can't forget that we want to be that light and we want to forgive others just as much. And I want you guys to realize who forgave them. Yes, in the moment, Jesus is talking about the people that are crucifying him. But in a whole, he's talking about you and I. He's talking about you and I, that when we mess up and that we think we can't be forgiven, we can. And he's praying over you every day, and he wants you to live the most joyful life you've ever lived. And he doesn't want you to be defined by those things that maybe that failed test you got, or that lie you told, or that car you crashed into someone. He wants you to be defined by him, by Jesus, that you are loved, that you are never alone, and that you are forgiven always. What's crazy is when I crashed into my neighbor's car, she wasn't home, so she had a fun gift to come to. And I texted her, and I was like, something happened. And she was like, yeah, my dad told me. And she goes, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. And I was like, what the heck? I literally just demolished your car. And she was like, I want you to know I prayed over you, because I just hated that you went through that. That probably not only ruined your day, but really scared you. I just want you to know that I am not at all mad, and I'm just praying that you have a better day. And I was like, what the heck? And it just shows her God love showed so much through her heart, and that he doesn't care what we bring to him. He already knows our heart. There was no hiding what I did on my car. There was no let's buff out the scratches. It was it's there. There was no hiding it. And same thing, God knows our heart. He already knows what's going on in our hearts, and there's no hiding it from God. He wants us to bring everything to him so we can have that peace and we can have that freedom in him. And he wants you to know that your past does not have to hold you back. No matter what you've been through, no matter what you go through, bring it to him, because he wants to free you from that. I'm going to pray us out. We're going to go in small groups. All right. Dear Lord, thank you so much for just gathering us here today and just loving us and forgiving us, and just knowing that you are not going anywhere. And when we go astray and when we mess up and we just want to give you the hand, that you just reel us right back in and you hold our hand and say, I love you, you are forgiven, and I want you to be that light to others and forgive others. And I just pray over every leader and every person in this room through small groups, and just being able to talk together and learn about you and love you. And I just ask that you put a light in every single person in this room and help them just spread your love and joy. In your